So what I was doing is, like, I was taking Apollo questions actually from some of my mentees, and I wrote it down here. And then, I've got very interesting questions. It means that those people are actually growing mentally. And one of the questions that I got was, what does it take to become an entrepreneur, like a successful one? And like, it takes a whole lot of sweat, blood, and tears. Because being an entrepreneur, and when you are actually about to make massive change, or you're playing in uncharted territories that no normal people or no mere humans just do, and only the 1% do. When you start to question stuff, you will be isolated. And when you're isolated, there's nothing that humans or living organisms, hate than actually being isolated. For example, if you were to catch a dragonfly and just squeeze it a little bit on your hand, you don't even have to squeeze it, but as long as it's dark, it will lose value. Like, being in the dark is actually what it takes to become an entrepreneur, because you need to be able to be comfortable being alone. Because if you're an entrepreneur, when you start, your friends and family are probably going to think you're nuts. They're probably going to think you're crazy, right? So when I started my journey, I had a lot of friends, and I was always the public guy. Like, they know, man, I'm an energetic guy. I've always been friendly. I've never been disrespectful to everybody. But people will just start hating you, like, for a certain reason. Like, thing is, when you start doing something that is actually going to bring massive change, or it's actually going to disrupt the system, you start being isolated. Entrepreneurship is sort of like a prison. You need to be comfortable being alone. You need to be comfortable losing everybody. I mean, like, even your family members, like your girl, because I had to lose, like, even your best friend, like, somebody that you grew up even sleeping in the same bed with, eating with, doing whatever, like, all of that had to go. Because once people do not find the benefit that they usually find from you when you're trying to grow and invest in yourself, they will leave. And you should be completely okay with that. And you should be okay with, you should be mentally strong enough to accept the disrespect from everybody. Because now, when I grew up, people were always like, oh my God, you're so smart. Hey, you can think what. But when I started using my brain to be like, nah, fuck this shit. This whole system is rigged. Like, why can a person work up until they reach the highest point where now they have a PhD, but they are not a millionaire or a billionaire, and they're stupid people with crazy cars? People always ask why. I was like, how? How do you fucking do that? Like, how are you able to drive a 5 million rand car and have 12 of those, like, maybe at one estate of yours, have a fucking yacht, have time, and, be able to travel the world, while the person who's invested 40 years into institutional education is barely able to, like, pay their house? Maybe they have one house, they have a car, they're just living a very, very, average life. So I started questioning things like that. And once I started doing that, I started getting alternative education. Like, I started not believing too much in television, because television is television. That's somebody else's vision. So I started reading certain books, and I started altering my mind. And the difference between rich people, poor people, and wealthy people It's just mindset. Like, that's it. You have to like have a very, very strong mindset. So, when you start off as an entrepreneur, people are often going to underestimate you because you are doing something that not everybody else does. So, and you need to be comfortable with failure, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're extremely successful, it means that you must have solved a problem or tapped into a market that's not nucleated. So now you sort of like become the pioneer in that field. And when everybody else joins it, because you invested before and you had systems in place, you become extremely wealthy. So, for example, let's look at movies, right? Always that guy experiences heartbreak, almost depressed, completely isolated, loses social status, everything, and then they get lonely. Friends don't call them, people don't invite them anymore. Everybody says they've fallen off. Everybody calls them crazy and stuff. And then now they start investing in themselves. Like now, because that's what it fucking takes. That's what it takes to become a successful entrepreneur. It takes every single ounce of your time, every single minute using your mind to actually pivot and build something for yourself, because nothing comes the same to everybody. So now you should have a very, very big why, and the how will be easy. So you only lose when you give up. So if you don't give up, you don't lose, but you will suffer. Because I know now, even the girl that I thought I was going to marry, lost it. Boom. Family members, lost it. Boom. Friends, boom. Like people that I could literally, I would give them my card. Be like, hey, dude, here's it. And I'd be able to, give them my card. Be like, hey, dog. Thing is, I'd go home sleeping. And, I think I'm being a good friend. And, people will take advantage of that. Because when you give someone something for the first time, they appreciate it. The second time, they anticipate it. The third time, they start to expect it. And then now you start giving it to them for the fourth and the fifth time, and it becomes an addiction. It's a hooking. That's human psychology. So now, being an entrepreneur, you need to be comfortable being alone. You need to be comfortable losing your social status. You need to be comfortable losing friends. You need to be comfortable being completely alone, because that's what it takes. You have to be your own best friend. And, you won't be invited anywhere, and you will invest, your time into making yourself better so much. Even how you look might change. I mean, for example, let's a prime example for a South African. Look at DJ Spoo. Back in the day, ooh, remember when it rains. Thing is, he was so clean, everything. As soon as he started becoming an entrepreneur and, having to invest in himself and doing all of that and being alone and, staring at the darkness, gazing at the abyss so much, and defeating all your 7 deadly sins, you'll end up with a beard this much, and your hair will be messy and everything. So now that period is the one that teaches you a stoic mindset, where now you let go of all the materialistic things, and all the social pressures are eased out of you, because now you start having no friends, and you start enjoying your own company. And you must just have that one person that believes in you, because sometimes it can drive you to insanity. I had my grandmother. People that will be there is probably your mother. And I also had my cousin, mi porta. So he's always been like, hey, dude, because sometimes you need somebody to be able to tell you that, hey, dude, I believe in you, and I believe you can actually pull this off. People that started with you. So everybody else, life will forcefully remove all the dead weight into your next journey. So now, once you start becoming comfortable being alone, and you start enjoying your own company, you start improving at a very, very, very rapid rate. And even if you surpass the level that people actually thought that, you were popping. Because when I was a kid, made my first half a bar and shit, I started wanting to enjoy that with my friends. I started wanting to enjoy that with my family and everything. So now you get to a certain point in life where you need to scale, because now that gets boring, and which means having to reinvest within. You need to invest within. So now when you do that, people even that you held down, like people that you thought were your realest ones, like this is my hair, those guys will ditch you. Those guys will ditch you. You'll get gossiped about, you get disrespected, you get underestimated. I mean, like, to a certain point, where you even start getting disrespect from like somebody that's fucking picking up the bottles that groove, to be like, right now, people will start trying to compare themselves with you. And once you've gazed into that abyss and you're comfortable with your own self, and I mean, like, another topic, look at Casper. He started getting hate from nowhere. Like, that guy's a friendly guy. I met Casper in your vest before, and whenever he used to come to my town, he used to want to do everything for everybody. But now, for you to actually get to the top, that's why they say that eagles fly alone. They don't fly with crows, not small birds and shit. They don't crawl with mice. They fly high up there. So now you lose everybody, and you'll notice that you are alone. And you would need to gaze into that abyss and actually defeat that inner devil and defeat your 7 deadly sins. Be at peace with yourself and master your mind. While the very moment you master your mind and you actually start seeing a light within that darkness, and you go through that path of life that trained you to become the best version you can become, you would have reinvested in yourself so much, and you feel so comfortable in your space that even sometimes, if you're 10 times worth than you were when they thought you were popping, you'd still be comfortable in your space. You'd still not prefer like having people like just coming around and attention of people that were not there while you were building. You'll probably have 2 or 3 friends that are just as pissed off as you are, and you started off as strangers, because strangers will believe in you because they'll judge you according to what you say and not where you're from and how they knew you when you were young, or what type of family you were doing, or whatever, like where you come from. They will judge you honestly, and they will become your client and business partner quicker than your friend or brother will become a client in your business. People like that only carry you when you're dead. Strangers will be the ones that give you your flowers while you're still, coming up, and while you're still alive, because, they will build with you honestly. So you need to be comfortable being able to start in a marketplace where now, there's nobody that because everybody, wants to see you doing good, but they don't want to see you doing better than them. You'll start having those small talks, nyana. You'll hear a whole lot of shit, and you also need to, be comfortable abstaining, because societal pressures, and also, being able to guard your energy. And thing is, you must just be comfortable being in your own space and building by yourself. And by the time you get out of that, I'm telling you, it's gonna be sweet. Because you know why? You would be so skillful and you'd be so comfortable with yourself. And even when you make a shitload of money, you'd still have a stoic behavior, and you'd reinvest in yourself because you know your goal and you know your worth. You know how big and how far you could go, which, most people will underestimate that, or they try to discourage you from that, mainly because their dreams are not that big. and they feel like that's too difficult for them to do that. Like, it's out of love, yes, for the people that care about you and your family, to be like, hey, what, because everybody always wants a safety net, right? When I was in grade like 6 in 2008, I got into a terrible car accident and I almost died. So I was like, fuck, I got a second chance in life. There's no need for me to play it safe. I'm not gonna be living as a peasant or be just living an average life. When I aspire to have a lot of shit, and when I'm using my mind to be able to do that. So once you start coming out of that field of darkness and everything, everybody will be, they would want your attention. But now you already outgrew people so much, and there's only a few close people that have been building with you that you're comfortable being around, And then everybody's gonna say that you changed. Everybody's gonna try to rain on your parade. Everybody's going to be telling people how, they were solid with you. Everybody will be telling people, yeah, that's my nigga. They'll be telling people, like, thing is, people will not support you, but they will want to enjoy your glory. They will not support you in public. And, mainly it's because of what they say behind closed doors. Because now, your niggas will even gossip about you. Like, they will say you've fallen off. They will talk a whole lot of shit. So they don't want to be seen fronting in public, when they support you by liking your stuff. Even if you're getting a lot of glory, just that hard, because they know what they said in private, and they don't want to be, appeased by the people that they were gossiping you with, to be like, yeah, but now you again, didn't you say that this nigga was what, he was crazy, what? At some point, they even started saying that, hey, this one is crazy, he's even taking drugs. Hey, like, people will make every single excuse to actually make themselves feel better, because, they used to, like, the whole social media thing and the whole internet thing, back in the day, doers used to be the ones that speak and, that teach people. Now, everybody, because you can get data and whatever, everybody wants to leave a comment, even if they don't experience the same challenges as you do. And everybody wants to feel entitled for knowing you once you've came out of that, darkness, or that deep, dark hole, because it prepared you to become extremely skilled. That's why people with money and people with skills, they understand that their skill sets are much more important commodity, because we were taught to chase money, and money chases value. And when you're alone, you end up becoming so valuable that now money comes in abundantly. You could throw me anywhere on God's green earth and I could start again. And I'm telling you, like, give me a month, give me 2 months, I'll be sustainable. I'll be able to build everything again, because I have the experience and I have the knowledge, and I can do it again, And that's what it takes, being in that period of darkness. It means, being skillful enough to be able to get around by just using your mind. Like, your mindset should be very strong. You should have a lot of value. You should be able to build systems. You should be able to do things for yourself, and that's what it teaches you. So I was also asked, if I was, to give myself advice, my 18-year-old self, what would I say? I would just tell myself to be a bit more patient and be comfortable being alone, and not to rush things, because now you get to a certain point of fulfillment once you come out of that. So now everybody would want to be there for the glory, because everybody loves the congratulations, the celebrations. Everybody wants to be able to have a good time, not knowing how you flip and broke your back, and you broke your neck, you have neck problems, you've been alone, your phone has been dry, you haven't been invited to any parties, People have been underestimating you. People were calling you mad. People were calling you crazy. You know, it takes a whole lot of that. So now, once you've actually transitioned from that period, and you're skillful enough, and you're ready for the glory, because when the glory comes, it really does come. It really, really does come. And I'll show you. Yeah, it is. This is proof. Like, thing is, now you won't feel the need to impress anybody, because how are you going to impress people that were talking shit about you? You're going to be just focused on building, with the people that were there for you, like during that period, when everybody was underestimating you and everybody was like turning against you and everything. So yeah, that's what it takes to actually become an entrepreneur. And it doesn't take 3 months. Don't let people lie to you to be like, hey, 3 months you're gonna become a millionaire. 1 year you're gonna become a million. No. You should be able. Like, thing is, people, just because you are able to maybe make what they make a year in a day, sometimes they think everything is easy. There's an example about Picasso, where Picasso was sitting actually in a cafe, and this other lady just came up to her, and then she gave Picasso a cloth to be like, hey, please draw something for me. Picasso took 5 minutes to draw it, and then after that, I was like, okay, if you want this drawing, you're going to have to pay me very, very handsomely. And the lady's like, but it only took you 5 minutes to do. It's like, it took me 30 years to know how to do this in 5 minutes. So people don't see the work that was put in before. People don't see the graft. People only see you shining when you're shining, because nobody is interested in learning with you while you are breaking your back, in building with you while you are breaking your back, because once you start getting a little bit successful, yes, there will be some people that be like, hey, because people only want to join something when it's popping, and people often hop into a marketplace when it's nucleated, which is really, really crazy. When the problem is solved, and then they're like, this is a scam. Because everybody wants instant gratification. If it was that easy, everybody would do it, right? So that's why, even like, in family gatherings, you get that one wealthy uncle or one wealthy family member that just comes in, and you start wondering, why, with all this wealth, why isn't this guy helping like a shit? Because when he was growing up, he was he stayed into the abyss for so long. When he came out, you come out your own person, and you get very, very comfortable being alone, and you only prefer people that are good for your mental health, and people that honestly love you and are not there to actually use you. People that love you honestly, and people that appreciate you for you and not what you have. So those are the people that deserve all the glory in the world. People that were there. Example, look at even entrepreneurs maybe that have suffered and are extremely successful, that have had girlfriends. They are married to them because they deserve that. But those ones, like myself, that got cut off because you couldn't do things that you were doing materialistically before, couldn't go on those vacations that you would do before, and all of that. You don't have the vehicle you used to drive. You don't go to places you used to go to. You're not as bougie as you used to be. Once you do that, you start enjoying your space so much that you're not gonna be able to allow anybody else, unless that person is really special or that person actually really resonates with you. That's why you see successful entrepreneurs that are males, predominantly. They're single, and also females. They're single because they understand the sleepless nights, crying, the years of putting into something, taking 10 years to become an overnight millionaire, getting breath from your family members, from your friends. They've gazed into their abyss for so long that they started seeing the light. And now, when you come out of that, darkness, you become an extremely dangerous person. And being a dangerous person does not necessarily mean that, like you become a good person. And by being a good person, it doesn't mean that it's being dangerous, but having that under control. Being able to have the power to enforce harm, but because your mind is at peace and you're comfortable with yourself, you keep that under control. You become a fucking monster, but you keep that under control because you're respectful to people. And being a good person doesn't necessarily, thing is, people think just because they are weak and they are unable to inflict pain that, no, I'm good. No, you're not good. You're weak. You're weak because thing is, you don't have any other option. You're not holding anything in. There's no power that you have. You possess nothing. So being a weak person, does not necessarily make you weak, good. It just makes you a spectator. And, I always get the same, where now people are like, you cannot determine your fate in life. Yes, I can agree to that, to a certain extent, that you cannot change your fate, but you can change your habits, which will change your fate. So now you need to question all your limiting beliefs, all your strongly held opinions. If the people that indoctrinated your mind with that type of information are living the lifestyle that you want to live, is your business professor a millionaire? Absolutely. So now I had to learn that. People, because they will either maybe your families or people maybe that you grew up with, just because they don't have the same mindset and goals and aspirations as you, they're gonna think you're crazy because they chose their route, right? Life pays you proportional to the problems you solve. So if you solve a bigger problem, you get paid handsomely. And to solve a bigger problem means you need to work really fucking hard. You need to put in that work. You need to invest in yourself. You need to be able to live alone, be lonely. And, once you're skillful enough, the right people will come into your life and, life will be good. It will be like that forever. That's why people that chase money, because if you chase something, if somebody came running, what's your first reaction? You run, right? You chase. The word chase means something is running away from you. But if you feed something, serve, it runs towards you, So now, when you find something that you love and you feed it, you are of service, which is why artists get paid the most, because they go there, they serve, they give away something. And then now the universe, when it returns it with the interest of the people that are just there receiving and not giving anything. So now you need to find your passion and find your purpose and actually hone your craft to, design your entire marketplace. Find something that you love and that you would do for free and then monetize that. There's a Japanese saying called ikigai. It means you find your balance. You find something that you would do for free and then, you turn that into a business, because now it won't feel like work. You'll enjoy it. And it gets to that point. And then people now, once you start coming out of that, because now you don't have as much attention and, your time is very, very valuable. When they try to call you or they try to, access you the same way they would years before they dumped you, and now you tell them that, hey, look, I'm not mad, I'm not anything, but you're going to have to pay me, because thing is, my time is very expensive right now. Because if I give you an hour of my time, if I had to practice, my craft within that hour, and then maybe make 10,000, and I charge you 1,000, it's a fucking discount, like 90% discount. Then people are like, hey, you think you're better, you what? So now people start, calling you grumpy. They will make all types of excuses and whatever. But you just focus on getting better because now you're mentally strong. Once you've defeated your inner devil, like your 7 deadly sins, you have to care about something or someone for them to hurt you. So now when you're alone and, you've designed that environment, whatever that anybody says really doesn't affect you. They just fucking sound crazy. And then now, they're gonna say, this person is so pompous. This person, he's not humble. And you guys know what humble means. Humble means like low ranking, like you're a peasant. It means you are low in society. I didn't make myself suffer just, to stay in the same place. Of course I had to change. I am respectful, yes, but I'm not humble. I'm not a person. I'm not a peasant. I don't consider myself as a person of low class in society. I am valuable, and my time is valuable now. So now people will mistake your confidence because you'll be so extremely proud of yourself for everything that you've achieved because you know the type of strain that it takes on you and the toll that it takes on you mentally to be able to achieve that type of level, that say it's arrogance, that start saying, yeah, you changed on them. No, you changed on me. I saw this, McNeil once said this also. He said that his old friends were like, hey, ever since you started having money, hey, you changed on us. No, they changed. Like, thing is, people will always want you when you have that type of abundance, not knowing how you get it and not knowing the mental pain it takes and the patience and the sleepless nights and the cries and losing hope where life defeats you so much that you feel like you have nothing more to lose except just die. And then from then on, you don't have a safety net because that's what it takes. And then you start taking risks. And when you get rewards, they want to share rewards with you and expect everything to be good and expect you to be that bubbly person. That person is dead now. If you were not there for somebody else's journey and the person is winning, all right? Because when you're a winner, you're not going to take things personally because now you had to convince yourself, you had to fight yourself and your mind is your biggest opponent. I don't give a fuck about a friend. So your mind is your biggest opponent. Once you are able to defeat that and you are able to defeat that inner voice that's telling you can't, and you start trusting yourself so much, you have confidence in yourself because you're skillful, you start instantly almost attracting things and you become in demand and your time becomes valuable because now you are there to solve problems. So now that's not arrogant. Like if you're a leader, you're like, okay, cool, dog. Like, thing is, I told you this, I broke my back, you watched me for 5 years breaking my back. And then, like, all of a sudden now when the rewards are coming, you're like, I always knew you would make it. Hey, dude, please teach me. Because if you find something very exciting, who's the first person you're going to try to share it with? Your friends, right? So now those people had the first class ticket to starting with you and building with you. And they underestimated that. They took, your ideas and your potential for shit. And they underestimated that. And that's completely fine because everybody has their own thing, right? So now, if you want to know about my thing, when I'm no longer here now, like my time is, like I'm here now, my time is way more valuable. Once you start, wanting to do that, you shouldn't be surprised if I charge you the same way I would charge a stranger. Because I deserve that. Like, I pioneered this shit. This is my shit. And people would be like, they expect you to go back to your old ways. You're like, hey, because now when you're alone, You get used to not partying. You get used to not having attention, like a lot of attention or whatever. You get used to your own space and you start enjoying your own company, and you can't have and be the same person and accept the same people back into your life that you had to recover from. So yeah, man, thing is, entrepreneurship is hard, guys. It's not easy. You need to be mentally strong. Like, you need to be really, really patient. You need to not give up. You must be ready to ride the long haul, because that's what it takes, guys. It takes that. Like, it takes every ounce of your body, every ounce of your energy. You will cry so much that you don't have tears anymore. And, you become so happy in your space and you start enjoying yourself. Now, once you start having abundance, you're able to do that and you live without a safety net. And because you're skillful, you can always do it again. And by virtue of that, you start scaling. And then now everybody's like, this one, as soon as he became successful, he left us. Doesn't want to come to Kasi anymore. Doesn't want to do what. He thinks he's better. He's living out there. Fuck you. Yeah, of course I am. But that's what it takes. And that's what it takes to become an entrepreneur. You need to, if I was to start again without knowing anything that I know, like start with a clean blank slate, say now I went back in a time machine where it also erased, my cognitive ability and what I know, I would, invest in starting with a brother. Have a brother, have a male figure, somebody that is definitely not going to let you down, because when you have a team like that, you guys can pull each other up. Because I will not, thing is, you don't know how many times my cousin and I have cried together. Brazil, coming to me, crying, yeah, frustrated, me too. But we were brothers and we were able to go through that together. We had lost everyone in society and we became, best friends, and we were there for each other. Like, when another one is feeling mentally weak, the other one would be like, hey, Chip, are you fucking mad, dog? Why are you doing that? When the other one is lacking, the other one would be accountable to be like, hey, Chip, you know what we're supposed to be doing here. So I would advise myself to start firstly with somebody that is definitely going to be down for you, Specifically your brother. Look at Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. Andrew knows. They've suffered together. There's really nothing more. You lock him in jail. He's used to that. Like, thing is, sleeping on the floor. Like, I could sleep on the floor. I don't care. I could sleep in a private jet. I don't care. Like, thing is, I can exist. I can survive in any marketplace. Take me to the jungle. I'll be able to make my own weapons, hunt my own food, and, cook it and eat. Take me to guys. You'll be able to start a business and collaborate and scale and live comfortably. Take me anywhere in the world. Take me to Dubai. I'll be able to close $1 million deal on a private flight, on a jet. So I can exist in any marketplace. That's why I don't live with a safety net. And doing that takes a lot of experience and it takes a lot of knowledge. So now I know how to see patterns, recognize patterns, and actually replicate them. So now I can exist in any marketplace. Being self-sufficient is the best insurance to any recession. Otherwise, peace, love, and light, guys. Yes, it's yours truly, that superstarly, goldenly wonderful, galactically gorgeous, and dangerously handsome entrepreneur, Romeo Tshepiso a multiple award-winning entrepreneur, man, African future leader, a best diplomat. It doesn't matter how good you are, people will always try to support people that are beneath you. more than you, even if you're popping. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're recognized by a president or whatever. They'll just try to, make themselves feel better. They see the gap between you and them. And that's what it takes, gazing into their abyss, because you start understanding flow, you start understanding yourself, you start understanding your vibration, you start investing in yourself, you get better at your craft, the right people show up when you're right, and you scale and you live nice. Boom.